Welcome to Earth, a Love Story. I'm your host, Robin Lassiter, and welcome to the new folks who came in after the recent Calling in Circles of Support episode. The ripple remains rippling, and I'm very grateful for all the connections fostered through that conversation. And FYI for the new folks, you can find my full audiobook of Earth, a Love Story for free on the first 15 episodes of this podcast. And full disclosure, pun intended, it's been available free here for several years, and that may be changing soon. We'll see. So if you want to listen to it for the first time or listen again, get on it. Also, our Becoming Apocalyptic Mother cohort starts June 20th, and there's an info session and Q&A happening on Sunday, May 31st at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. Email me at earthalovestory@gmail.com to get on the mailing list and check the show notes for more information. I wanted to start this episode by telling you a story of the best rejection I have ever received. When, 4 years ago, I was pitching my book, Earth, a Love Story, to publishers. This was both my best rejection and my first rejection. I pitched the manuscript to a publisher specializing in anomalous content, and I was both nervous and confident. This seemed to me like a no-brainer, a home run. It's a small publishing company. My book was getting a lot of very good feedback, and so who knows, maybe I would accept their offer or maybe I wouldn't, but surely they would want my book. I have looked and looked for the written rejection that I received and can't find it. I'm sure I put it in some special folder in my email so I'd never lose it. I wish that I could find it and quote it word for word, but it's okay because many of the words are burned directly into my brain, heightened, surely, by their bluntness and my intense emotional reaction. I so clearly remember gasping as I read them and then throwing back my head and laughing. So I'm paraphrasing here, but this is pretty damn close. The email said, "While your book is well written and you certainly have experienced anomalous events, experiencers are not qualified to tell their own stories. For credibility, experiencer accounts need to be told through a third party." I was floored. I could not believe that they just straight up said it out loud. I am not qualified to tell my own story. This mysterious third party, though, likely a, quote, UFO researcher, would be. I was so proud of that rejection. I wish that I would have printed it and framed it, really. And I was and remained delighted by the utter blind audacity of that email. The audacity. I was thinking of this story as I was reading Courtney Buterbau's latest essay on her Substack, The Unidentified Felt Object. This essay titled The Problem of the Female Experiencer and Why It Matters Who is Speaking as Disclosure Happens. And I'll link that in the show notes. It's an amazing read. Check it out. And as I was reading Courtney's essay, I was remembering the rejection and also thinking about some of my other work, which could be said to be the reclamation of the things pushed away. The things split away, the repressed feminine, the healing of that split, and the integration of all things pushed away and rejected, pushed down into the underworld of our unconscious. Apocalypsis is revealing to us the tendrils of the things that we've split away and how it is threaded through nearly every aspect of our internal and external experience. This split is threaded through ufology, through disclosure, through our culture, through our bodies. The other day I was having a conversation with someone about what I generally call the horrors. You know what they are. The horrors are solidly centered around the abuse of power, the vast majority of that abuse being perpetrated by men, and the reckoning happening around that. And we both agreed. This is the disclosure we didn't see coming. The disclosure we didn't see coming is the overt, dark, magic, ritual abuse and harvesting of life force by the many, many Epsteins of the world. The disclosure we didn't see coming is the Rape Academy. The disclosure we didn't see coming is the realization that every toxic symptom and ism and arche we are seeing revealed by Apocalypsis has their origin in the same anaerobic putrefaction. The unacknowledged, shadowed, deep, introjected denial, fear, and outright hatred of anything we've collectively pushed into the underworld. Particularly and especially the archetypal and subsequently the embodied feminine. This anaerobic rot, this rot without oxygen, is literally stealing our breath. How are experiencers and the rejected archetypal feminine linked? It's a big topic, and part of me is tempted to present this somewhat academically, which I can and do in many of my cohorts and teachings, and another part of me can feel allergic to the intellectualization and legitimization that is inherent through that lens, because it reifies the very subtle introject we all carry. The introject of the overculture that says science and academia and research, particularly when carried out by institutions and men, are valid and legitimate and therefore real. Subjectivity, interiority, and somatic direct experiential knowing are not. Therefore, I, a woman and an experiencer, am not qualified to tell my own story. And let's be very clear about this. This apocalypsis, when illuminated by the light of compassion and wisdom, is not, of course, simply about men and women. And I'm not interested in further reifying the split by saying men bad, women good. I've been in women's groups and communities which turn toxic, collapsing complexity by saying all women are not only good but victims, and all men are not only bad but perpetrators. That's simply not true, and every time I'm tempted to eat of that admittedly very enticing apple, I remember the many men who have come to me with their own stories of sexual or physical or psychological abuse at the hands of other men, or sometimes, although much less common, at the hands of women. Man bad, woman good is far too easy. Everyone suffers the result of the anaerobic rot, those things held in deepest shadow. We have to look more deeply at the shadows themselves, their origins, the systems themselves and their origins, the origins of domination, misused power, co-opted fear and control. We could look at how, when the archetypal feminine was put into the underworld, we sent death and the mystery with her. And it is the deep fear of death which keeps the rot putrid and breath-sucking instead of nourishing compost. I recently taught a course called Wayfinding the Sacred Interior, and together we listed the many things which exist in the sacred interior that have been relegated to the underworld. Dreams, the non-rational, subjectivity, interiority, right brain content and context, metaphor, symbol, archetype, psyche and soul, the archetypal feminine, the healthy masculine, somatic and emotional intelligence, our multi-bodied, multi-dimensional, non-local selves, anomalous, mystical, spiritual experience, psi abilities, downloads, gnosis, death, the holy power of sex, the great mystery, joy, grief, rage, our own agency. And we could go on and on. The overculture has given us a lot. Modernity, rationality, planes, hospitals, medicines, individuation from our merged consciousness with archetypal Great Mother or Mother Nature. As potentially radical as this is to claim, I see in our human evolution the same evolution that happens in each of our psyches here in the West as we go through the process of growing up from a baby to a toddler to a child to a teen to a young adult to maturity and wisdom. There is a necessary individuation that must happen as our internal archetypal masculine grows away from the archetypal mother and comes into their own adolescence. The feminine, lunar, dark, seasonal, merging with nature, the mother, is overcome and pushed away by the necessary splitting off of the solar masculine. He must reach, strive, and achieve. The overculture as we know it is the result of this splitting away. And because we've lost rites of passage, this natural individuation is no longer held in the context of elders, the healthy masculine, the whole feminine, community, ecology, our earthly kin, both human and non, and so seems not at all concerned with the psychic health of the individual. The overculture has served, allowing us to come into our necessary individuation and adolescence in many ways, but because it has happened outside of these community contexts, it has clearly, undeniably, become breath-stealing toxic. It's time to grow up, not before it's too late, it is too late, but because we must if we are able to survive and become the dignified, spiritual, powerful, radically compassionate, and wise human beings we are capable of becoming. The biggest grief I can imagine is a failed human experiment, where we wipe ourselves out still believing we are a cancer on the earth, instead of humble, noble, creative tenders of this garden paradise planet. I was listening to John Churchill speak on a podcast the other day, and he said, "We will become a university planet, a garden oasis of truth and beauty and goodness, or we will become ash." When I tell you that I felt that in my bones and cells and blood and skin as goosebumps erupted, yes, let's create that together. We made all of this up. We can make up something new. And part of this growing up that we're being called to do is valuing and integrating the things we've left behind. This is Terence McKenna's revival of the archaic. This is Wilbur's transcend and include. This is Marion Woodman's call to return to the abandoned feeling body, the archetypal feminine. We must reclaim what we've left behind, what we've shunned, what we've defiled and rejected. There's a very, very old story here which Apocalypsis is revealing, disclosing, uncovering. It is an introjected and unconscious story of ascensionism, leaving the mother, leaving the earth, rejecting the archetypal feminine, and therefore the physical body, the emotional body, the earth. Our bodies are the bodies of the earth, and there is a problem, we are told, with the body. I cannot look away from how this relates directly to the matricide we are committing against our mother planet. We are told there is a problem with grief, with passion, with eros. The feminine can exist in the overculture, but only if she's feminine love, light, chaste, pure, or as my teacher used to say, pretty, pleasing, and polite. Or we can adopt the rules of the overculture and learn to thrive in the world at the expense of our bodies and hearts. Every woman knows this. This isn't just how the overculture prefers us, it's how we literally have survived the tendrils of misogyny woven through an adolescent culture. It's why we find ourselves writhing in the moonlight, secreting our darkness and power. It's why so many of us are metabolizing the horrors alone, at night, painfully through our bodies. And it's why it's so damn hard to answer the call when the goddess comes. And as someone in direct contact with things not accepted by the overculture, the experiencer inhabits the same territory. The experiencer can exist, but only if he or she is deferential, doesn't tell the whole story, speaks through the lens of rationality, objectivity, or nuts and bolts as we call it. The experiencer cannot speak of the wholeness of experience. The experiencer cannot speak of the way the anomalous interweaves subjectivity and objectivity until we question the very idea that they are different at all. The experiencer sees through reality, and in doing so becomes dangerous to the fabric of the overculture. The experiencer is unconsciously perceived by the overculture as a modern-day mystic, seer, breaker of worlds, and iteration of the evergreen archetypal magician witch, and the witch wound is alive and well in our bodies, regardless of gender, because its memory and psychological and physical underpinnings are alive and well in our collective body. The same breath-stealing toxicity responsible for the horrors is the same flavor, different intensity that quietly or loudly dismisses the experiencer. The same flavor, different intensity that has upheld vulnerability as weakness, dreams as meaningless detritus, accounts of different states of consciousness as insanity or silliness. There is so much conscious and unconscious derision and disgust pointed towards those things still kept in the underworld that it may be lifetimes before we resurrect our full multidimensionality. But like it or not, we're in it, friends. Apocalypsis isn't coming, it's here. And for a big old chunk of us, including many of us who have seen beings and lights in the sky, disclosure isn't coming from a UFO, nuts and bolts flying saucer, and endless semi-redacted documents showing the entire phenomenon through a military-only lens. It's coming through our bodies. She's coming up through the soles of our feet. Apocalypsis is coming through our dreams. Literally. Several in last year's Becoming Apocalyptic Mother cohort have dreamed of her. Apocalypsis is coming through our bodies through the reclamation of our sacred interior, through finally acknowledging the limits of materialism and courageously believing each other and ourselves. Apocalypsis is coming through our wise, mature communities. She is not the disclosure we saw coming, and she is here to reveal the truth of what has been excised and left to rot. She is here to guide us through the deconditioning and reclamation of our own archaic humanity. She is relational, equal parts fierce and loving. Apocalyptic Mother, is our ally. And the cost of her allyship is an achingly personal disclosure that doesn't have to be done alone. The cost of her allyship is our own willingness to journey into the underworld, to come face to face with her, the great round, the uncried cry, if you want to truly live, die before you die. The alchemy of disclosure, apocalypsis, doesn't happen to us, it happens through us. We are apocalypsis. Change is possible, my friends, and our collective love and attention and awareness ripple out for real. Apocalypsis is not hopeless. She is the doorway, the gateway, the portal, the bridge into the more beautiful future we can all feel just over the temporal horizon. It won't happen without us, though. It is not inevitable. We are creating it together, along with millions of others who are doing the same. Becoming Apocalyptic Mother 2026 starts in June, and we will have a Q&A on Sunday, May 31st at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. If you're interested in joining, would like to learn more about this work, or to book a one-on-one session with me, visit robinlassiter.com.